Hi, we're from The Girlfriend, and this is the Deadline Studio at Prime Experience. When I read the first script, it was just the one at the time of reading and at the time of my auditioning. I'm ashamed to say, I definitely took Cherry's side. I think certainly in that first episode. I think probably because I was already at that stage getting in the head of Daniel and he's falling in love and has to fall head over heels in that first episode. So I think, I was definitely in that headspace and as Daniel, totally infatuated with Cherry. And at that point, he's just not seeing Laura. You know, he's pushing away from Mum slowly and all of his focus is on this incredible woman that's walked into his life.
Who is a piranha. I mean, you know.
And Mum's a barracuda.
And Mom's a barracuda. Well, yeah, I took the mother's side, of course. She's always right. And, you know, that is sort of the basis of the story is, yes, there's an overprotectiveness of her son, but for a very valid reason in her mind's eye. That this, you know how you have those sixth sense feelings as a mother going, this one's not good. This is not going to go down well. So that protectiveness. I understand. I'm a mother. I get it. And you see the ulterior motives from the woman that your son's falling in love with, and then it just escalates.
Really hard for Robin because as the actor, she of course sides with Laura, but as director, she's impartial. So you're wrestling both of those things.
Totally.
You know,
yeah, I had to have my allegiance with Olivia when I was directing her. I was like, just go for her. Get the daggers out. So I auditioned with 4 actors that day. And he was the last one. And he walked out of the room. And we improvised. You remember? Mm-hmm. I said, let's just throw the sides away. And let's just riff as mom and son. And he was amazing. And we went on and on to the point where Lucy Bevan, our casting director, was like, okay, cut. That's enough. And he walked out of the room and I just said, he's Daniel. Because we just flowed. And he looks like my son in so many ways. And he's like my son. And I was like, oh, this is a match made in heaven for this role, you know?
You know, I probably played it very cool, but more so than anything, it was just exciting to be in the room. And like Robin said, she was ready to play straight away. The scripts were down and we were riffing, and that process actually continued throughout shooting. We'd do the scene as written, and then Robin would be like, okay, let's we've got that, let's try something else. And it was very fluid and very collaborative, and no ideas were bad, or if they were bad, Robin was very polite about it and would try it anyway. But yeah, it was amazing. You know, you have this idea about someone with the reputation and the work behind her, such as Robin, but she was just very down to earth, and it was very easy to play her son. We had a connection straight away, and I'm very grateful for that.
The pool scene was my choice. I wanted to let it drag out as long as I could to make the audience wonder, is this her young, hot boyfriend? Because we don't know anything about Laurie yet. Maybe she's having an affair with this young, hot kid. So we added the hug in the pool, and that was very perverse, right? It's just weird.
Yeah.
And we went for weird.
But all of those kind of scenes and moments, we would do various levels, and see how far we can push it. And then Robin has it in the edit. I mean, that scene in
and the sauna.
Yeah, but also in Spain when when you kiss me, and it was that, well, like that wasn't in the script, but it was like, let's see how weird we can make it, and if it's too weird, it won't go in. But playing with those levels throughout.
The two perspectives was in the book. Michelle Francis is so good, the novelist, at describing in detail a character, the traits, their methodologies, their operational tactics, all that. She literally writes for an actor. That's what I felt when I read it. I was like, she's giving me my homework to do. And then we would just up the ante with the writers. What can we add so that each episode ends with a hook to make the audience want to come back and watch the next episode, etc. And the music is a huge factor, the needle drops, because it's the thing today. And that to me makes it so much more potent, the description of the characters, when you either nail too much on the head the song that's exactly the lyrics of what's happening. Like in episode 2, it opens on Laura's perspective, and it's Diana Ross's song, This Is My House. You know? So we were very deliberate with that. It is subjective, the way we perceive a person, the way they looked at you. Did they cast a weird glance and you took it wrong? So it's misperceptions, but subjective perceptions. Yeah. Right? And that is the arc of this show. That was the whole point. Because we all do it. We've done it to other people. You know, we walk in a room and we're smiling or we're smirking because we're looking at that weird stain on the wall, and the person goes, "You were looking at me with a horrible face." And I was like, "No, I was actually looking at the stain on the wall." So we all have done this, and that's a very cheap and easy analogy, but that's what interested me and enticed me to want to make this a show, because it's very human. The misperceptions and the escalation that happens in The Girlfriend is those misperceptions become truths. I use no.
I wouldn't dream.
I give it to myself.
Yeah.
I would be on camera, and in the middle of a take, I'd go, "Oh, that sucks. Let's let's keep camera rolling and let's do it again." That kind of freedom I love. Instead of cut, let's go again. I can just direct myself, but I gave that task to my DP, and he was horrified. I said, "Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to roll camera when we do my coverage, and I'll do 4-6 takes, just bang, 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 in a row. Don't call cut. And then at the end, I'm going to scream to you in the video village and say, 'Did we get it, Matthias?'" He's like, "Don't put that on me." I said, "Oh, no, it's your responsibility. You have to tell me if we need to go again." Because we had so much prep and talked about the characters and the arc and this relationship with her, because it's a triangle that's going on, right? And he was so invested in that, not just lighting the scene. We were building a fabric together. So I said, "Buddy, we're team, you and I, and you have to be my backup director." And he was. And he was honest. He was like, "Yeah, that did suck. Do it again." "Oh, yeah."
Yeah, I had a great time working with Olivia. Yeah, it was very easy to play that kind of relationship with her. She's very lovable, so it was easy to play that. And she's very generous, and she's got a wicked sense of humor. She's works very hard, but she's a lot of fun.
She's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But what was so sweet about their relationship is the minute camera was rolling, the chemistry between them, and they had never met. They didn't audition together. This wasn't a chemistry read. Sometimes you do that, a few times to make sure they're going to work on screen. They showed up, but off camera, they were like 12-year-olds. Mm. I'd call cut, they'd be all sensual and sexy, and you totally bought it. And then I'd call cut, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, check this out on Instagram, whatever." Like, look, they were little kids.
We didn't do any chemistry, but we actually met in a bar in a karaoke bar in
right.
Gran Canaria. I was on another job, and we had a mutual friend out there, and they thought it'd be fun. We knew we were going to be working together, and our friends thought it'd be fun for us to do a duet with each other. And Olivia picked "All Coming Back to Me Now," which I didn't know. And I was like, I don't know that song.
I don't know that song. What is that song?
There were nights of endless pleasure.
Yeah,
You know that one?
Well, now I do.
No, I probably butchered it, so you probably wouldn't know. Anyway, I was like, I don't know it. And she was like, tough shit, we're doing it. And yeah, that was...
And then she sent me the video of them singing, saying how happenstance was this, that we bumped into each other in a pub prior to coming to your set to be lovers. And they were instantly pals.
Well, I've certainly changed my allegiances since I'm recently a father, and that's changed how I view the whole situation. I think if I was in Laura's position now, I'd be like, well, get out of my house, stay away from my child. It's a whole different thing, which I probably hadn't appreciated at the time. But people are really split.
People are very split. And that was, again, a deliberate tactic on Amazon's part, which I thought was really smart to do, because you want to engage the audience in a different way other than just selling a trailer or a teaser. Or they started this idea of, we're going to build two teams, Team Laura, Team Cherry, and you're going to flip back and forth every episode. You're going to be on one person's side, and then you may flip to the other. And then really the question is, where does the truth lie? Because what they do to each other is not horrific. Like, we're women, we're nasty. Like, we get in there. And so I wanted to base it in realism. Like, these things could actually happen. And it was successful, what Amazon did. Getting social media engagement, bringing in the kids, all demographics. So you've got two different demographics watching, right? You've got my demographic and theirs. And we needed to find a tool so that they were excited on the edge of their seat. What's going to happen in the next episode? Whose side are we going to be on? And they would do competitions and tallies, and how many people were pro Laura, how many people were pro Cherry, and it just amplified the attention about this arc of psychological thriller between these two alpha females that both want the same thing, and they both believe that they're right for why they want it.
It's interesting that they both have the right intentions. They're coming at it from a place of love and to protect the thing that they love. And unfortunately, they get off on the wrong foot. There's that first instance of distrust, and then they're paired against each other. And then from then on, everything just reinforms that confirmation bias. And that's we're living in that world now where everyone is so polarized, and anything you read is, well, of course. We're in our little bubbles of Team Laura, Team Cherry. Any information just feeds that bias. And so by the end of it, you're so far apart. And that's what happens to these characters.
I changed the end at the last minute because I wanted it to be a Greek tragedy. Because you would think Laura's either going to kill Cherry or Cherry's going to kill Laura. And then we just went... Because look at what she does at the end to her own son. You drugging your son to keep it. It's that desperate. And I said, it's Shakespearean. He's got to come kill his mother without even knowing it because he's under the influence that his mother did to him. It's messed up. They did in the edit, because that was Andrea Harkin's direction of the last 3 episodes. And we played around, and she would show me, what do you think of this? Should I cut away sooner we tried so many different machinations of how long would we hold on him holding dead mama? Or is she dead? And I said, I think we should leave it hanging. He's a doctor. He could have resuscitated her. So I said, cut sooner. And then it leaves the question in the air. Did she actually die? She could have lived. That could have woken him up, even though Cherry's the one that wakes him up saying, stop, Daniel. And then he comes to reality and realizes, is she unconscious or did I drown her? And then that last scene was always a questionable thing, that he's now living in her house. So does that confirm that she's dead? Or did Daniel, in a lawsuit with Dad, get Mom out of his life because he chose Cherry? And now he's living with Cherry in the mansion. And Mom could be living, in Slough in a tenement building. It left it open if there was ever going to be a season 2 also.